Y'all know what it is. Raiders, bitch. Just win, baby. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of the Oos Nation Podcast, episode 21. We got a very, very special guest. Yes, sir. And he's a part of the ops, too. So, we got a huge game this weekend, rivalry game, and we thought it'd be perfect to bring in none other than Shawne Lights Out Merriman, man. How you doing, man?
What's up, my dude? How you guys doing, man?
We're doing good, man. We're ready for this game, man.
I'm surrounded right now by a whole lot of black and silver. Yeah. I feel it when I walked into the room. The temperature changed in here a little bit. So,
I know. Usually we're on opposite sides too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the black on.
That's me.
Have you ever thought about maybe what if you could have been wearing the silver and black?
I actually have. So, Al Davis loved me, man.
Yeah.
I got a chance to talk to him before I got drafted. Mm-hmm. And he so I got into a fight in college, right? And it's when they're going through the whole draft process, like, oh, this guy, he likes to fight in practice. He likes to fight, and all that. So I got to fight in practice and college, and a lot of it got into the teams, right? You go into the combine and they find out everything about you, every single thing. They family, you got a girlfriend, wife, kids, they look at everything. And this fight came up in some of these interviews. And Al Davis was telling me, like, yeah, I heard about the fights and stuff you got in college, and he said we need some of that out here.
Yeah,
it was like his response, man. He just loved like nasty physical players, man, and I always love Al Davis for that. Obviously, him just being a juggernaut in general in the NFL and one of the like biggest names to kind of turn the NFL, the Shield, into what it is today. He was a big part of that, and so I always had a lot of love for Al Davis, and I still talk to Mark Davis a lot. Still now we talk a lot.
I know. Back in the days, especially the Raider way was like being physical and tough and all that. I know the NFL kind of got away from that because nowadays you can't just go out there and knock people's lights out. I know your story too, getting the nickname Lights Out, man. Yeah. I guess you could just tell people that haven't heard it yet,
Yeah. I so my sophomore year in high school, I knocked out 4 players in the game.
That's crazy.
And right after the game, I had about 30 students come run up to me and they said, "Oh man, you knocked those kids lights out."
Yeah.
And I looked at them. I was like, "Yeah, call me Lights Out."
That's dope.
I didn't even really, think nothing of it. And this is pre-social media, right?
Yeah.
So I remember getting to school on Monday. I got my book bag on. I got some books in my hand. I'm going around school, and everybody's like, "Hey, good game, lights!" Right? Calling these, lights for Lights Out.
Yeah.
I remember I went home that day because it happened like 10 to 15 times during that day. Came home and my mother was in a room smoking a cigarette, and I opened the door and I, waving the smoke and stuff. I could barely see her, right? And I jumped on the bed. I said, "Mom, I want to get this Lights Out tattoo." Everybody's calling me Lights Out, and she took one more puff of the cigarette and did that. Said, "Boy, get the hell out the room!" Right? That was her exact words. So every day for 2 weeks, I went to my mother and I said, "Hey, every single day, I said, can I get this Lights Out tattoo?" And every day she said, "No." Finally, at the end of the 2 weeks, she said, "All right, just leave me the hell alone. If we get it, you gonna leave me alone?" I said, "Cool." So that's where the light switch came from in the dance and flicking the switch on and off. And so that happened when I was 16.
I'm surprised you waited for her blessing though. A lot of people back in I got my first tat and my parents didn't know about it.
I got a black mom.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
it's gonna go with a black guy.
Yeah. I was gonna black a lot of things. She's gonna black a lot of things if I went to go get a tattoo. But I think she understood that I was passionate about it.
Yeah,
I wanted, and it was something that I knew was going to be something one day. I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that carried through all the way through high school, college, and then through the pros.
The reason why I bring that up is because I wanted to ask you, man, who made you mad that game? Like before that game to knock 4 people out.
I always, to be honest, man, because I had a tough upbringing. We grew up in PG County, Washington, D.C. area, so I had a tough upbringing. So, football was my outlet to let go of everything I was dealing with. Like coming home, eviction notices, no food, light and gas off. I had to stay down the street with a friend or something like that. It was so cold, no lights in the house. Or we're in the house, got 4 sweaters on. You got, gloves, you know what I'm saying? So football for me was a outlet to like take out on whatever I was dealing with in my life. And I was like, good. After I walked off the field, I'm like, oh, I got it out. I'm good. And so I played that way. That was the only way I learned how to play, and I just continue to play that way.
Do you feel like you could have played that same way today or adjusted to it, I guess, going into today's football?
I think I would have been forced to adjust.
Yeah.
But it's certain parts of the game that you're not going to take away from guys because you learned it as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? Like, back when I was playing, like, you got applauded for knocking guys out.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for real, you know.
That was a different time.
It was just a different time where, you know, literally after I knock a guy out, I'm looking at my coaches on the sideline like smiling. Did I do a good job? You know, did I do good? And we used to laugh about that all the time because every time I had a big hit or I knocked somebody out, my coach, he's already smiling from ear to ear because he knew I was about to look at him. And so I think that the times have changed, and I think I would have had to change with it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I would have had the same enjoyment and passion that I played with because I would have been too tamed to play how I wanted to play.
Especially with the Lights Out nickname, too.
Yeah.
And how far it's come. I wanted to bring something up because I remember the first time I met you. I know the first time you met him. I know you've seen one of his TikToks before. And then earlier this year, obviously, we played the Chargers. We lost in L.A. We never seem to win in L.A., which is always frustrating for us. But I seen the viral video that you posted afterwards. I couldn't stop laughing, even though I was mad at the game. I was pissed off at the game, and I watched. I was like, okay, that was a good one, man. The Hug a Raider fan, man.
Yeah. So it's crazy. My partner, my boy Vito, who does a lot of my editing and stuff like that for podcasts and stuff. We worked together for a long time. And I told him I had an idea, right? I was like, listen, if we win this game, because by the way, it was an if. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to go stump these guys out. Like, it's it's like, hey, if we win this game, I want to do this video. And I came up with that. I wrote it down, and then I wrote the script, and I came in and did it in Paul's studio. But the crazy thing is, I grew up like family. I got my family of friends are Raider fans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I had in my house, I had Dallas Cowboy fans, and then I'm from Maryland, so I had the then Redskins, now Commanders, then Redskins fans, and it was Raiders fans. Your cousins and uncles were all Raiders fans. So I grew up with it. So I've always been like in between, and I know how they are. So I know how to kind of press at Raiders fans a little bit because I know how they are. I grew up with them. They were in my household. So I was like, I don't care if you are a hater, you're mad, you're pissed off, whatever it is. They're finding this shit funny, right? This is going to be funny. Whoever it is, it's just going to be a funny deal. And so, even my boy Charles C. Wood, man, Charles, he commented under. He's like, I can't say that this is good, right? And so I think, all right, cool. You know, all my boys that played, thought it was funny too. So
I like that. I respect that too because like. Even though like we both go for opposite teams, it's good. Like I get along with a lot of people that could make jokes and stuff like that, but not be disrespectful.
Yeah,
I know this guy goes back and forth with a lot of opposing fans.
I found him for that. You know, he had the because I reposted it his video, and I just thought it was because that's some shit that I would do, right? Like so and and so like for me. The reason why I go at Raiders fans and all that stuff so much because the fan base is so strong.
It is.
Right? And so I've always, even over the course of my career, I've been very close to just our fans for sure for the Chargers, but just fans in general. Like I was just in Dallas on Friday and Saturday, and I'm going through Dallas airport, and like people are screaming at me from the bar, from sitting at it. It was like one of those. So it's when you get recognized by different fan bases, it's cool. But also too, I respect the fact when you have a strong fan base, they ain't letting nothing slide, right? They not letting. Like I know when I say something to Raiders fans on social media, I know I'm gonna get lit up. I know it, and I'm already prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I like and appreciate the fan interaction more than anything because regardless if they talking shit or not, for me, it's first of all, it's letting the fan know I see you, right? Because a lot of people I think. Want to be noticed. They say stuff that just get noticed. Even if they're a fan of you, got something. I have Chargers fans that say some crazy shit to me, right? But they just it's them waving and like, hey, look, I'm here. When I say anything back, it's like, oh, she didn't responded.
Bro, it's the same thing with us. We get a lot of flack from even Raider fans because we have hot takes here and there, and then they always say the most out of pocket thing, and then I come back like. Well, just like a funny reply, nothing crazy, and then I'm like, yo, I'm a big fan, yada yada. I was like. Oh, not now you want to be all cool and all, but the whole time he was talking crazy, man.
Yeah, they just, in my opinion, they just, sometimes people just want to be noticed. And they will say, and most of the time, the most negative thing get noticed first.
That's true.
Right? And so those typically get the responses that people are looking for. So I know when somebody's being negative or they saying something, they're just trying to say, yo, hey, look at me, pay me attention. So I never really get offended by anything like that.
I know you say you had a lot of Raider family and whatnot, but once you got drafted to the Chargers, did a lot of them follow you, or did they still go?
Yeah, like they all came, because family's gonna take precedent over anything, right? But typically, like my aunt is a diehard Cowboys fan. I mean, diehard, and Cowboys fans are the most delusional fans in all the sports, right?
That's like another big fan base there, too.
Like big fan base. And when I say something about the Cowboys, I get the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? And so my aunt was a huge Cowboys fan, but she came to the games, and she had my jersey, and my family had my jersey, even though I know they were Cowboys or Raiders or then Redskins, now Commanders fans. Yeah. Because, family takes precedent over all of that.
So I got a question for you. Growing up, there was always people saying, oh, Shawne Merriman is part Samoan, part Tongan, part Fijian.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever asked the question, so I want to ask you. Are you part Islander?
No, man.
Yeah, back in the day, you could have passed, bro.
100%. Yeah, I look back at some of my pictures in the mid 2000s. Like I see why everybody, because
with
the mohawk and
goatee and all that.
Goatee. I was kind of a little bit huskier then too. A little bit bigger. So a lot of I had a lot of Samoan friends, right? Yeah. Lots. And so it was like when I went over to that stuff with family reunions or family functions, I felt at home because everybody thought I was anyway. But I actually black, white, and I have some Russian, some German, and Irish. A lot of Irish. It's a lot of Merrimans in Ireland. So it's funny. Nobody's never really asked me that. But
I was curious.
Yeah, he was asking
me. I'm telling you, when I was growing up, they're like, yeah, he's half Samoan, and then the Tongans were like, no, he's fucking half Tongan. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna ask him.
Yeah, but it's crazy, man, because so many of the people I was around were Samoan or Tongan.
Yeah.
And so man, it was almost like I fit in right. So when I heard Oos, like everywhere, it's like, okay, I've been that for 15 years. So
I was in San Diego, too.
And I was in San Diego.
There's a lot of polys out there, too.
Yeah.
Do you get mistaken a lot for Shawne Merriman?
No. So
because we were just talking about that, I was like, bro, it sounds just like Shawne Merriman.
Yeah. So me and Shawne Merriman, the basketball player, we had the same accountant.
Okay.
We had the same accountant. And
mix of those
we had the same accountant. And somehow, some way, I got mail, his mail, to my house.
Oh shit!
They sent mail, and I don't know if it came to the firm or something like that, but it came to me.
It was a check or what?
So yeah, that was it. And it was some bill, some notification or something.
Okay.
And I was like, hold on, listen, don't send me no damn bill. Send me that NBA check.
NBA check a little bit.
I was like, for that NBA check, I'll be Shawne Merriman. No problem. You know what I'm saying? So no, we still, when I talk to Shawn nowadays, we still laugh about that.
Yeah, I mean nowadays, looking at what Ohtani got for in baseball, make you want to be a baseball player.
Right? Yeah.
So I wanted to get into this week's game. Obviously, Raiders, Chargers is always crazy when we go back and forth. We always do good at home, but I don't know why we never do good in LA. How do you feel about this week's game? I know that the big news came out that Justin Herbert's out for the season, man. Mm-hmm. How you feeling about the Chargers and how the season has gone so far?
Starting out before the year, right? Before the season started, everybody got these high expectations and stuff, what their team's going to do, how great this player is. Everybody's kind of running around during the offseason looking sweet in his jerseys and stuff, not, pads come on, season start, and now, those IG videos, the hype videos the guys posting during the workouts on the offseason, that shit go away. It's like, dude, you just posting all this, I'm about to tear the season up, and, so I think that, by the 4th to 6th game of the year, everything starts to pan out. Yeah. Which team is really real, whatnot, and you really typically only got about 5 or 6 teams that got legit shots at the Super Bowl, right, when it all is said and done. And so you look at this team with the Chargers, and on paper starting the season, got Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, who went down also, Austin Eckler, Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin, J.C. Jackson. So you're looking at it like, they're going deep in the playoffs, right? That's the first thing that come to your mind when you look at how this team was built on paper coming into the season. Then J.C. Jackson is coming back from injury from last year, and Then, okay, Mike Williams goes down early on during the season, and this person goes down, and I'm like, oh, so stuff's kind of clear up a little bit. But more importantly, man, I think that for us, and when I say us, I mean former players or whatnot, there is a sense of disappointment, right? We just had the alumni weekend this past weekend, and Gates got the Hall of Fame. He's coming up for the Hall of Fame 70. He's got the Chargers Hall of Fame. So I got a chance to see all of Jamal Wood, Big Maul, everybody who you don't get a chance to see a whole lot. So that was really cool. But everybody's disappointed, right, on how the season's gone, how things have kind of unraveled, because Brandon Staley, I was one of the first ones he called when he got hired. Okay. He called me at night, and we talked on the phone about 25, 30 minutes or so, and I got hyped. I was hyped because of how he talked, how he presented himself. He come across as a good leader, very smart, data-driven, all these other great players, coach, intangibles, and you felt this spark, right? This is change in the former coach who was there, coming in, new attitude, so that was there early on. And we did see some improvement in some areas, but we started to see over time he didn't get better. Yeah. He didn't get better as a coach, right? You always have a year grace period, no matter what, when you come in, right? Yeah. New coaching staff, everybody's trying to get familiar with each other, all this other stuff. Okay, now what, year 3, 4, whatever year he is now, that has worn off. Yeah, and now there's a decision that has to be made, because everybody know and understand in the NFL, it's a performance-based business. Exactly. You can, the NFL, man, is so cutthroat in how they run business and how they do things. And I mean cutthroat in a good way is fine. It's very performance-driven. Yeah. And from the front office, coaching staff, players, training staff, equipment guys, you don't perform in any one of those areas, they will look to move you. Yep. Yeah. And so, people saying, Brandon Staley's he's been on the hot seat this whole year. To be quite honest, right? Yeah. After they got bounced out of the playoffs from the Jaguars to now, right? Because everybody's calling for him to get fired last year after the Jacksonville game. So
that game fucked me on one of my bets, man. All I needed you guys to do was win by 7.
Nobody expected that to happen. Matter of fact, dude, after the first half, I turned the TV. Yeah. I was going back. I was watching other games. I was on the phone. And then one of my boys texted me. It was the beginning of the fourth quarter. He said, yo, you watching this Charger game? I said, no, dude, they blowing Jacksonville out.
We good.
I said, no. Yeah. No, they ain't. Bro. And so when you have a team like this and they're underperforming, you have to start looking upstairs, the top, the top and the coaches. Because, all these guys, we know they can play. We know Khalil Mack can go. We know Justin Herbert can play. We know Austin Eckler, Mike Williams can. We know these guys.
Got a squad over there on paper.
Yeah, so we know that they can play because of their body of work in the NFL. So what's really going on? What's really the issue? And that's when you start to kind of look at the head coach.
Yeah, and we're in a similar situation because we just fired our head coach that we hired last year. But I think it's a little bit different because Josh McDaniels coming over here. Not a lot of Raider fans were happy. I'm one of those, I guess, delusional fans that are always optimistic. So I was like, give him a chance. Maybe he could do something here. And man, after last year, I was like, okay, let's see another year. And then we didn't even go a whole year with them.
I think that was one of the bad hires in the last decade.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm seeing it now.
You know what I mean? And for this reason why I say that is because we already seen what he's done as a head coach. Yeah. Right? And one thing I never really understood, if you know somebody that's unsuccessful, and I'm not talking about 50-50 or something, he sucked, right, in Denver. He was terrible. Yeah. And sometimes you could be a great coordinator and not a great head coach.
That's true.
Right? And so we've seen that over the course of a very long period of time. And so when coaches like that still get a job, it baffles me. Yeah. Right? Because they wasn't bad. They didn't have a bad squad in Denver. But he just didn't do well. Mm-hmm. And so for him to go and get the kind of contract that he did with you guys, with the Raiders, it didn't make any sense. Now, with the stuff that started coming out after about how much he blew up that organization, that locker room, what he was doing, what he was saying. He wanted Jimmy G there. The general manager didn't. I mean, he was talking to players sideways, and he was living in his own world. But I was like, what? Because in this day and age, with the NFL, if you look across all the teams that are winning right now, is a player-coach type of environment. Yeah. They have a relationship with the players. And from those reports that came out, whether they're true or not, I know personally because I've been around people who know him well. Yeah. He's always lived in this bubble. of not listening and doing what he wants to do. Just totally, the argument that came out when Antonio Pierce said in the team meeting room, like, this is what happened when we beat the Patriots when he's with the Giants, and him getting pissed off at that.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Like, you lost your mind? And so you're not even with the Patriots anymore. And he was using that to put the team in a better predicament. Right, give a good speech, get them back on the right pace, and you're gonna check the guy who actually played the game and respect it.
Yeah,
I mean, AP's my boy, man. I've always we always had a really good relationship. So when he got the job, when AP got the job, I was like, okay, they're gonna be good over there.
Yeah,
for the simple fact he has the respect. And guys are going to respect people who've actually been through the fire the most, right?
Exactly.
Look at what they're doing down in Houston with D'Amico Ryans. Any one of these guys that actually played the game and can coach, you're going to walk in against, get instant credibility no matter what. This other part is that, where he come from, his background, growing up being a Raiders fan, know what it's like to be Raider blood, and know that he knows the DNA of who a Raider is. Like, all these things is a factor on why that I knew that they were going to be much better. But what's always going to happen is that first spark that happens, that he needs to keep that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the thing to everybody. Oh, new coach, everybody hyped up, going to go out, and they had the couple games where they was.
That's what we talked about.
Yeah. And so for him, I think to have longevity, they need to give him a real opportunity to bring his guys in.
Yeah, okay.
I saw that he had a couple coaches in the team meeting room, I think last week or this past week or whatever, because, again, you got respect, right? So you can call these very notable Marvin Lewis and people can feel what they want about Marvin Lewis or whatever, but he actually had a long career with the Bengals, great defensive coordinator. And so Adam Gase wasn't a good head coach, but he's a good coordinator, right? And so when you have the respect and credibility like Antonio Pierce does, he can pick up the phone and people are going to be there in a second. That's what you need when you're trying to build a future of an organization. So I hope that they continue to give him the green light on letting him bring in who he wants to bring in.
Yep, facts.
And that was the question I was going to ask you too. But do you think it just depends on, like you said, it's a performance-based business. Do you think it still depends on what he does for the rest of the season and how the team plays, or do you feel like he should just get it because of?
It's not going to be wins or losses that's going to get him. If they go out and keep that spark that they're playing for their head coach, he's going to have another shot the next year. And I think from the decisions the bad decisions that they've already made, you can't make a worse one than you just had.
Yeah,
you just can't.
Yeah.
And so the worst that's going to happen is, the absolute worst is, the guys are going to go out and keep playing for him.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing that's going to happen. The best thing is he bringing his coaching staff that he wants there. He bringing the players that he wants there. Have a little bit more decision-making power, and then you can only get better.
Yeah.
Right? With the opportunity he's given. So they've already made the bad mistakes. I thought that they, by not giving the coordinator, the interim head coach, the last one,
Bisaccia,
yeah. I thought that was a mistake.
Yeah.
They were better off keeping him there as a head coach than bringing Josh McDaniels in.
Looking at it now,
I not even look when they did that. Chargers fan, I'm like, yes. When they brought in Josh McDaniels, I'm like, way to go.
And we've been suffering for the last just 1 year and a half, and we already seen.
It felt like an eternity.
Yeah, a lot of the Raider fan base have been waiting for this moment to happen. Now we just got to see what's going to happen moving forward. I know this last game that we had, we didn't score not 1 point, which is it. And I know the Chargers hasn't. We're both in the same.
No. It's a very similar situation to what's going on with the Raiders and the Chargers right now. And the crazy part is that we kind of kicked Denver to the curve, and they're second behind KC.
Now these guys turn around.
Yeah, they turn things around, and
them and the Chiefs. The Chiefs always going to be the Chiefs, but. You guys are in a similar situation. So moving forward, I feel like Brandon Staley's days are numbered, at least for now. What are your thoughts on saying I've been hearing a lot of Bill Belichick or Jim Harbaugh. That's a guy that's been getting a lot of talk, especially even Raider fans, Charger fans. How do you feel about that?
I think those two great coaches, between Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh, they come with a big price tag, huge, both of them.
That is.
And so the Chargers have to make that kind of commitment to do that. By the way, there's no guarantee you bring either one of those in that thing's going to be better.
Yeah.
Just because they're great coaches don't mean it's going to be better. That's one. The second part is, and it's nothing against Bill Belichick at all. He'll go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, head coach of all time.
Yeah.
In this day and age, I think the game has passed him because of where the game is right now. The players, the money that's out there. It's So when Bill Belichick had all these players and they were winning Super Bowls, whatever, the guys wasn't getting paid like what they getting paid now.
Yeah.
Guys wasn't shooting TikToks and building their own brands and social media and all this other stuff that's going on. And so Bill Belichick has a very old school approach, the Patriot way, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when you're talking about now in this day and age of how guys could be coached, I don't know if it's going to work. Jim Harbaugh might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
He's down there with younger kids in college or whatever. He's done extremely well with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Over his tenure in his career. I think that might be a better move if they were to decide to move on from Brandon Staley, which it looks like they may.
Yeah.
I would take Jim over Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is going to go. Somebody's going to pay him a big number. I think he'll end up with the Commanders or something like that. They're going to stroke that check.
Yeah.
They got a lot of money down there, and big market. They it suits if that's what they plan on doing. So if they're going to move on anybody, it'll be Jim. But then again, there's other really good offenses and defensive coordinators that's coming up.
Yeah.
College coaches that may be that make that jump to the NFL. So there's a lot of other opportunity as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I guess one more thing I want to get into, at least for this game coming up, is there one player or any player on the Raiders that have caught your eye or you've been a big fan of?
Maxx Crosby, dude, that's my guy. I mean, I just think the world of Maxx, his story, his where he kind of transitioned from and what he's doing now. I think that if the Raiders were a better team, a better record, he'll probably be up for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, in my opinion, is stopping him from being up there, mentioned up there in the top 2 or 3 because of the team standings or records.
Mm-hmm.
But when I watch, my eyes are always keyed on Maxx because I just forget the stats. I just love the way he played the game.
Yeah.
Like this dude is all out. And outside of the motor, man, he's just nasty, man. Like
he's a beast.
He's just a dog. And we just talked about the game kind of changing because I play this way now, and so I started looking at guys like him that he's like, okay, he's one of the last dudes just out there to just play nasty for 60 minutes, and somebody you always got to account for when he's on the field. And even when I see him now, man, like I'll see him a couple times a year, and I always ask him to go and let's go spar and stuff over there. And, I try to get him to go spar.
He's an MMA fan too, like a big fighting fan too.
Big. He's a big UFC guy. We got a really good relationship with Dana. He's one of the guys. Josh Jacobs is from Maryland. He's from Maryland. So I've been watching him for a long time. But they got guys, man. They got players. Same thing. You look on paper, like man, outside of the quarterback position, they got some guys, man.
And I think that's what's frustrating with us. I know what you guys always had talented rosters, and it's kind of crazy. I know we always joke around, especially Raider fans, because we know how to get to the Charger fans, especially when we're saying, like no Super Bowls and whatnot like that. Yeah. But then you look at the teams that you guys did have.
Crazy.
It's crazy that you guys haven't came out with one. And then you look at, I think, 2006, you guys had a solid roster.
LT.
You were the leading sack leader that year, too.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that team could have easily won one today?
Yeah, man. I don't have a lot of regrets about my career, really. That is a regret that I do have, that we wasn't able to pull out one, right? Yeah. I mean, you really could have talked 2 or 3 if we're really talking about it. We could have had 2 or 3, but at least one, right? Because I think one would change the perception on the Chargers' history. It would have changed the perception on a lot of us, because I played with 4 Hall of Famers. Mm-hmm. 4. You know what I'm saying? And so when you talk about that and you look at that, like how in the hell you play with on one team 4 Hall of Famers? You got Gates LT is already in. Gates is coming up. Phil's going to get in there at some point in time, and I think that, in my opinion, I think Lorenzo Neal should be up at some point in time too. Mm-hmm. He was the last dying breed of fullbacks, that position. He's blocked for multiple 1,000-yard rushes and Hall of Fame running backs. He was rated 2, and so he's one that I think that they should at least talk about or bring up when it's time.
So when you look at today's game, is there anybody that you feel like kind of plays like you or reminds you of yourself?
Yeah, Khalil. Yeah, Khalil.
I know that's our guy.
Because he had
That
a
is
play.
true, though. That is true.
Yeah, he had a play, and when I say that's because he had the style to be able to do everything. Right, he can pass rush you, he can move in space, up and under moves. He had one big hit in the Patriots game. He came down the line of scrimmage and just leveled the running back.
No
and
flags.
I looked at I hit Frank Gore in 2006 the same way. Right, it was flat down the line of scrimmage. Helmet came off. It was just he's so explosive. And I got a chance to. I've been watching him since he was in got to the NFL. And my coach Pagano, John Pagano, who's my linebacker coach, was the D coordinator up there with the Raiders. So he called me like after the first week of camp when he got up there. He said, "Lights." I said, "Coach, what's up?" "Lights." I said, "Coach, up." He said, "This dude, Khalil Mack, reminds me so much of you, dude." And he kind of was messing with me. So I think he's even a little better than you. I said, "Listen, relax, all right?"
Don't make me put on the pad right now.
I was like, "Listen, relax." And at this time, I don't know how many years ago that was, but I was still like in playing shape, a little bit when he came into the NFL. But so and obviously when I went to the Bills, so I knew about Khalil already because he went to Buffalo.
Yeah.
He went to the University of Buffalo, and so I was watching him in college. But I never thought that what he was doing in college, that he would be able to kind of transition and make that to translate that to the NFL. He did. So if anybody, I would say Khalil Mack would be the guy.
One thing I did want to talk about too that has been controversial is the Charger fan that's been viral or been deemed a plant. I'm pretty sure you've seen her and whatnot all over and whatnot. What do you think about that? And do you think that she's actually a plant?
It's funny because like everything is nowadays about going viral.
That's
everything. Like the Chargers got this kid at the game this little kid that always takes his shirt off and swings it, right?
Yeah, I seen that kid.
Yeah. And so I remember because I was there the first time that they had him on there, and the crowd went absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
It went bonkers. And so that became the kid, right? And so creating this viral moment and got so recognized that they do it just not every game now, but almost every game. This kid's there, same thing, takes his shirt off, swings it, the whole thing, and crowd goes crazy or whatever. So I think it was one of those times where the fan, she was going through so many emotions, and they caught her at that moment.
I know.
And it was one of those things like, yo, we have to use it. And so they kept, kind of kept using her. And, like I said, social media is so viral now that once things get out there, this platform picks it up, this media outlet picks it up, this media outlet picks it up, and now she's the fan. She's the one. And so, but yeah, so I think the funniest thing about that is the first thing I seen is she was like a paid actress.
Well, I've heard a lot of backstories on her.
Like a paid actress.
Yeah.
And I remember the next day she went on the Pat McAfee show and she was talking about how she wasn't a paid actress, Chargers fan. She used to be a fan of, I think, Minnesota, something like that. She was from Minnesota or whatever the case is. But the Chargers will always, because of the move from San Diego and everything like that.
They're going to catch that heat.
They're always going to catch that heat because you have fans from San Diego who's just pissed off still, no matter what. And I see it on social media all the time, right? So that talk is always going to be there.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, and it goes, I guess, right into my next subject. Obviously, that move from San Diego to LA, it's not that far of a move. Yeah. But the Raiders went through the same situation. I mean, we've done it a couple times, but going from Oakland to Vegas, and we see a lot of fans still pissed off nowadays with the whole move. I guess for me, like looking at outside in, I never thought that Charger fans would be mad about that move because they're like 40 hours away. Just how did you feel about that? Were you for the move to LA, or did you want them to stay in San Diego?
Well, a lot of people need to understand that the San Diego people don't like LA people in general.
Oh, that is true.
So if they would have moved to Orange County, the fan base would have been fine.
That's crazy.
If they would have moved
where I'm from, Santa Ana.
Yeah, if they would have moved anywhere in other than LA, they could have came to Vegas and the fan base would have still been fine.
Yeah.
The fact that they moved to LA, that's where the hate came from.
Yeah.
And so when they were when they were initially talking about it, I got a call from the mayor of San Diego, and he said, "Shawn, we really want to get this deal done. We want the team to stay here." And so they put me on this board or this panel to kind of help facilitate or just be a middleman or a voice in trying to keep the team there because I wanted the team to stay there. Yeah. And in fact, I know a lot of the ownership and people that worked in the Chargers, a lot of them, people understand, a lot of them was from San Diego, right? A lot. And so for any San Diego fans that actually don't believe that the Chargers wanted to stay is crazy because you got to think like AG and John, Spanos.
Yeah.
They all grew up in San Diego.
Yeah.
Everybody. Who in the hell wants to leave San Diego? Nobody wants to leave San Diego. But on the business side, I understood because I've seen just about every proposal that came in. Yeah. And the ones that got shot down. And so I really at that point when I saw it physically on the proposals, how quick they were getting shot down or the no communication that was happening between the city and the team, I just knew it wasn't going to happen and they were going to move. And this is like in the middle of the negotiation. I knew it was going to move. And at that point, I became okay with it because, I'm a businessman. Like I'm in business and I have my own companies and I understand that, I don't care how much money you got, you looking for money from the city. Yeah. And I also think that the message on why they wanted to stay there wasn't loud enough. For them to understand why they're staying and it's not going to raise the taxes of the locals and things like it's just the message was wrong. Yeah. They didn't get it out there enough. And I think that if they did and there was more communication, that deal could have got done. Yeah. But the fact that they stopped talking, I just knew that it wasn't going to happen. And then I became okay with the move.
Because I remember initially we were supposed to be together, the Chargers and Raiders in L.A. Right. I wanted the Raiders in L.A. because I'm from SoCal, I'm from Long Beach, so I'm a huge advocate for them going to L.A. I was kind of iffy on like sharing it with the Chargers and whatnot, but I was like, it is what it is. If they could come, they'll come. But then when we got kicked out and then you guys joined with the Rams, I was like, damn, I don't even know where we're going to go. And then Vegas got brought up. And I was excited because I was like, okay, it's still nearby. Go to Sin City. Little did I know it's going to take some time for Raider fans to, make it seem as close as it is to Oakland, Now it feels like we're the Charger fans. We get to see a lot of opposing fans in our stadium. But with that said, Qualcomm, that was the
Qualcomm,
name.
Yeah.
There was a lot of memories there for me as a fan. But I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite memory in that stadium?
There was nothing like Qualcomm on Sundays, man. And I think that the biggest thing for us, for one, the team we had and how we were winning. We wasn't just winning. We were like dominating. Yeah. Like we got it to the point where sometimes practices was harder, dude. Then I would go against Antonio Gates, Marcus McNeil, like Chris Dillman. These are like big, dirty, mean linemen that we were. So by the time we got to the games, I was like, I just ran around with Antonio Gates. I had to cover LT out the backfield. And the day that I wanted to take a light, guess who's back there? Michael Turner, Darius Rose. Like, there was no day. Like practices were crazy. Yeah. And so by the time we got to the games, it was easy. And so, just the San Diego, there's like to me, man, like I was 20 when I got drafted, right? And my first year I played at 21 years old. So my first time like being an adult was in San Diego, right? And so you almost kind of grow up there like that. I'm from Maryland, D.C. I'm from the East Coast, but like San Diego's my home. Yeah. And of course, I didn't want to leave. Nobody wanted to really leave San Diego, like internally. There was nothing like Qualcomm on Sundays. As shitty as that stadium was, and it was bad.
Like O.com.
Yeah, it was bad. Same thing. Bad stadium, but man, that place was always rocking.
Speaking of stadiums, like I want to talk about O.co as well. Did you have a crazy moment or like one of your most memorable moments? I know I see that viral clip about the battery.
Yeah,
that's probably one of the funniest shit I see.
So like growing up, obviously being a football fan, the only thing you see on TV with Raiders fans is the craziness. Yeah, right. And so you almost like it's like to me, I had the same feeling when I walked into Lambeau, and you just know the history of that. And so I was so prepared, but unprepared for what I was about to see. You got to see it in person, dude. I mean, the environment was so hostile. And I'm not talking about like during the game. I'm talking about getting there. Like people were standing from the buses. They were throwing things. We actually had to get extra security to get crowds and people out the way from letting us in. Yeah. And they didn't hold back, man. It was like one of the only stadiums. Philly's bad and all that stuff, whatever, but they'll say anything to you. Raiders fans, they would say anything to you. And for me, what I miss about the game the most? I don't miss the applause. I miss the boos.
Oh, yeah.
I miss the booze like hell because, you can – anytime you can go and affect somebody's emotion that way, 70,000+ people, it's a damn good feeling.
Yeah.
Especially if you're beating them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a damn good feeling. And I just remember hitting Kerry Collins, right, and getting back to the sideline. He was like, F you, Merriman. I mean, it was crazy. A regular sack, regular hit or whatever. It was like crazy in there. And – like my boy Kurt Morrison, and I had friends, on the team, and so we were talking all week. Like we were talking our text message was lit.
Yeah,
I'm going to do this. I'm I'm getting 2 sacks. That's guaranteed. Yeah, but you hurt your Achilles. I said I'm getting 2 sacks against y'all. It's one of those things. I'm getting 2 sacks because I got to, right?
Yeah.
And I think that for us, like Marty Schottenheimer instilled so much hate towards the race. It was like, that's how I know hate is taught, bro. Like, when you see kids and stuff going up, they hate like a race or they racist. I'm like, that is taught. Yeah. That, I'm from the East Coast, so I had no business hating the Raiders the way I did.
So you became a Charger.
Till I became a Charger fan.
Yeah.
A Charger player. And then, Marty instilled in us that the Raiders are like the worst. We should hate them. Not play, like, practices for us during Raider Week was so intense.
Yeah.
That we had to actually stop practice, talk, and like calm everybody down because they would like be full on tackles. We would have goal line to the ground.
That's crazy.
Because it was so intense. And matter of fact, that's the same week that we used to get $100+ or a couple $100 for forcing anybody to fumble. Right? You hit the ball at the running back's hands or wide receiver's hands. You force a fumble, you get a few $100. So I was like trying to make I'm trying to make money, right? Yeah. So I went out there one time, and it was Raider Week. We all amped up. We hitting out there. It's physical. And I go and I tomahawk the shit out of LaDainian Thomas, trying to make him fumble.
And during practice?
In practice.
Oh, shit.
And took him straight to the ground, right?
Oh, that's a big no-no.
Yeah, of course I didn't. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm turned up. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? And it's Raiders Week and all that. Man, they got so silent out there, and the coaches, everybody's looking at me like, man, if you don't calm your ass down. But that's how intense Raiders Week was for us.
Man, growing up as a fan, I never really hated the Chargers like that until I started watching more football. And during those years, like, I became a fan in like 03. So 03 to like 10, 11, we had some dark days. So playing the Chargers, there was like long spans where we would never win. And then I remember I read an article, and then LT said, this is one reason why I hated LT growing up, is because he said, man, if the Raiders were the last team on earth, I wouldn't want to play football. And I was like, man, F this dude, bro.
But that's how we all were. I'm serious, man, because, I grew up in the house. I had Raiders fans in my house. So I had no hate against the Raiders. I was like, oh, okay, Dallas fan, Raiders fan, whatever. And all of a sudden, you get out here to this team, and a hate is born.
Oh, yeah.
A hate is born. But this is why. This is why I kind of understood the hate the first game, right? So I still didn't understand because I never played there. I didn't know. Yeah. And I didn't know that hate was mutual with the fan bases.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And so I've never seen as many fights in the stadium and how hostile it was. And I was like, this is some crazy shit. This is like, I didn't, nobody can prepare you for it. They have, you got to see it, right, and see the fans and see people and see the whole nine. And when I saw it, everything made sense.
I guess outside of the Raiders, who was your favorite team to play against, and who was your favorite quarterback to sack? I guess
Tom Brady.
Oh, definitely.
And it's crazy because obviously with the Raiders being a divisional opponent and the must hate and all that stuff there, I had a real hate for the Patriots.
Everybody did.
You know what I mean? Like a real hate.
Yeah.
And then, with Tom Brady and all that, you get tired of the poster boy talk and I don't know. So I'm thinking of my time leading up to that. I'm like, now I'm going to take his damn head off, right?
Yeah.
Because it's Tom Brady and is the Patriots and all this other stuff. And by the way, Patriots fans are the only fans in the country like the Patriots. Ain't no, you ain't go. How many times you go to California, Texas, or anywhere else, and you see a Patriots jersey? Never.
Not that much.
Until you get to that Northeast region. That's the only time you see them, or unless they migrated from Boston or some from out there. Other than that, there's no Patriots fans. So like Patriots are hated by everybody, and they took that shield of being hated by winning and throwing it in everybody else's face.
Well, they're gonna suck for a very long time now.
They should. you know,
That's what they get for getting 6
Yeah.
rings.
yeah, you know, like you had 2 decades of winning. It's time for you to suck like everybody else.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know,
it should be our time now. I know we got man. It's crazy because we got Super Bowl out here, and it doesn't look like it's going to be in our favor.
Yeah, no.
So for me, I just don't want to see the Niners because I'm a big, like obviously being a Raider fan, I have a big hate for the Niners. Well,
So my Super Bowl predictions is Niners, Chiefs get there by luck, but the Niners take it all. So I wanted to ask you, what's your Super Bowl prediction?
I got the Niners there, but I'm going to Ravens.
ooh,
That's a good one.
I'm going
That's a good one.
I'm going to Ravens, man, because I think that Lamar has taken so much slack
Yeah.
over these years. The new contract he's gotten, him not being healthy and not being able to get them deep in the playoffs, I think that this team, the way they're built, is the year that they could do it. They can do it. I mean, I know they've done it a couple times in the past, but from right now, Philly don't look the team that they were. Look like the team they were. And a lot of these NFC teams is kind of falling off by the wayside. You know, Lions were on fire at one point.
yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, now they're just kind of looking like some of the old Lions again. You know, Green Bay is done because Aaron Rodgers is gone. So it's gotten, you know, progressively much weaker in the NFC division. So, you know, NFC Championship game, I think it's going to be the Cowboys and the 49ers. And I think somebody going to take out Philly way before they even get to the NFC Championship game because of how they looked over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I got the Niners and the Cowboys NFC Championship game with the Niners there. I got the Chiefs and the Ravens in the AFC Championship game, and then the Ravens.
What about the former
I can
team?
see that.
The Bills. How do you feel about them?
You know, with the Bills, man, it just really depends on which team show up.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, is Josh Allen going to throw 2-3 picks?
Yeah.
Or are they going like which team show up? If the good Bills show up, they could beat anybody,
That's
including the Ravens. But they're just so inconsistent that you can't really bank on them showing up in critical moments.
It's going to be a crazy year. So many teams go up and down a lot. But I wanted to move outside of that real quick because I'm a big gamer. So you were the cover athlete for NFL Tours. And that was one of my favorite games growing up because I didn't really play a lot of Street.
Yeah.
So I remember they went off of that and did the Tours thing. So that was what I played a lot. How was that whole experience, and how did you even become the cover athlete for that?
It's crazy because it was all fan voting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I think it was like Dwight Freeney, I want to say Jason Taylor and somebody else, defensive guys, who won the fan voting. And then it was official fan voting at the end. And I ended up beating those guys out for the cover athlete. It was all voted by the fans. And that was crazy for me, man, because, you know, growing up being a gamer myself, I still play, but, you know, I was a serious gamer when we was playing Madden all the way from Sega Genesis, Nintendo, like Tecmo Bowl all the way up.
Yeah.
And then you never really... Like, I remember being in NCAA for the first time, right? And when they had me in there, they had my weight wrong, and it was like, it wasn't me. It was my freshman. And I was pissed. I didn't even want to play NCAA.
Yeah.
Because I could not wait to be in a video game. And so they didn't get it right to my sophomore and junior year where I started to play it. And then being on Madden, stuff like that, you know, early on. Because everybody grow up, you want these opportunities and stuff. I got a 13-year-old son now. We still play Madden. Yeah. So having a cover of a video game that was like different outside of the Madden, it was more like me too, right?
Yeah.
Like the NFL Blitz, the tours, the backyard, like that was like me, more edgier, more like I didn't like the clean cut stuff anyway. And so me having that was cool. And then, you know, we got a video game my partner's coming out in the fall.
Oh, yeah?
I'm sorry, in the spring, yeah.
Oh, nice.
In the spring with ESG, Elite Sports Gaming. This first 11-on-11 player football game that's coming out.
I did hear about it. Oh, you are a part of that, huh?
Yeah.
But I did look up that, and I know that that's going to be a lot different from. Well, it's something that you don't get out of Madden. I think a lot of people are kind of getting stale with the whole Madden thing.
Dude, this thing is I think with the influencers and stuff we have part of this game, it got almost 500 million views already.
Yeah.
And they're labeling this thing to take out Madden. I mean, it has that, you know, has that feel to it. You know, my partners Ray and Lamar in that game. Shady McCoy is there, and we got, you know, a couple of guys as part of the game. And the cool thing about this game is it's a lights out extreme fighting gym. in the game, right?
That's dope.
And so if you want to go there, get your speed up, get your toughness up, your hands, and you can go there, take it from the football field to the cage.
That's crazy.
In there, and so it's going to be super dope. And we've been working on it for quite a while. But these guys over ESG, they're the next up and coming guys in gaming.
Damn.
Period. And I really do feel that this game is going to change the industry of gaming because this is not the only game that we're planning on making. Yeah. But when people see this and the reviews that's coming out, half a billion views.
Oh yeah.
And we haven't even launched.
Yeah.
We haven't even launched. So, all these big companies and, we got to touch Activision and all, like everybody's calling now. But this company, ESG, is going to take over the sports gaming market. I'm telling it now, not just because I'm part of the company. I mean,
I'm hoping so, man.
Yeah, I've been investors in other stuff on the gaming side. I've never really talked about it much. I just thought it has potential. This game, when it comes, it's free. It'll be a PlayStation, Xbox, PC, phones, and all that, and it's a free game.
Oh yeah.
So this game is next level.
It's like an open world game too, right?
Yes.
I seen the trailers on it. I've been looking for. I forgot that you were even part of it. That's crazy. So that's supposed to be coming out sometime next year.
Yeah, in the spring. It'll be out in 2024. But I'll have a heads up. We'll have a big launch party and stuff for that. I'm even looking at throwing some gaming tournaments with it the night before our fights. Every 6 weeks or so, big gamers are coming in. What's cool about it, man? You can be your influencer could be in a game. Right, the actual influencer in the game. You make your own
avatar.
Oh, dude, you'll make your own avatar.
Yeah, because Madden took that out. Like, it's so crazy how big of a company it is, and they've taken so many features that people love back in the days and stuff like that.
Yeah,
even just customizing, like making your own team and stuff like that.
Dude, this neighborhood mode on this thing is next level.
Yeah.
This neighborhood mode on it, and I think that's what it's really going. It's going to, at the end of the day, it's going to change the gaming industry at some point.
So moving on from that, I guess I want to talk about your Lights Out Extreme Fighting, and you have a big event coming up soon, January 6th, in my hometown, Long Beach. I didn't know that's where you was coming out of. So I mean, you could talk about that.
Yeah, January 6th, we'll be live in Long Beach, Lights Out Extreme Fighting 13, and this was cool because this one's our first women's main event.
I've seen that.
We've never had that. Typically, I stay out of my matchmaker. Antonio's a huge Raiders. He's a Raiders. Raiders.
Yeah.
I gotta hear this shit up Raider all the time. I'm like, dude, I can't. We're not gonna be able to have a fight. You keep screaming and shit around the fight. But yeah, we got Abby Montez and Jackie Kettleline. They're very well known in the MMA community. Fought for some big promotions before. And I normally stay out of it, but I wanted to make this one happen.
Yeah.
For one, it's our first time we've ever had a woman main event. But two, man, both of them are badass. They both are badasses. They're gonna get after it. I think it's gonna be probably the fight of the night. And it's cool. We'll be live on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports.
Yeah.
We just jumped. I found out Monday that we just jumped 90% viewership from one fight to the next. And 2 fights ago, we jumped 70%. And so for me, man, I know there's a lot of competition out there. I've been going to the UFC fights. Man, UFC is actually one of the reasons why I got into this industry from the start.
Okay.
In the mid 2000s when I started, I've been over 30 something UFC events, and I just think they're the big dogs. They're always going to be the big dogs.
Yeah.
And so for us to have an opportunity to make these jumps the way we're making it, the amount of how fast we're growing, it's really the fans telling us like we enjoy what y'all doing, the production, the fights.
The name is dope, Lights Out.
Yeah, and the name, everything fits, and I think we just crossed over like top 5 or top 6 or something like that on Fubo Sports, most watched ever. And so that says a lot, man, when you're making those type of jumps.
And you're doing a great job of like just you being the personality, and you mentioned it before. Social media has taken over more than it has back in the days, and I feel like your sign 'em up videos, those are probably the most hilarious shit and that's what gets people interested too, like just seeing it. And when I think my favorite one was, because I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, so I see the one you do with Michael Jackson.
And I had the glove,
yeah. He had the glove on there, like sign 'em up. Bro. Yeah. But how did you start that, though?
So obviously, being in the fight business or whatever, and then we're gaining a lot of notoriety and stuff, and it wasn't always like that, dude. Like when I first launched it and I kind of took it over in full ownership and running it, like we had like fighters were, I don't know, Shawne Merriman was like, oh, okay, I'll go fight over there because we know who he is, we watched him, whatever, but it wasn't an MMA commodity yet, right? So now we getting, fighters from all over the country, now all over the world. I was just talking to my attorney that does all the visas and passports and stuff. 'Cause we got fighters that are big fighters that's trying to come from overseas and fight for us now because we're getting so much notoriety. So I would a lot of fighters would be in my DMs. You know, you were thinking like a hot chick, and I don't my DMs not with hot. It's all fighters. You know, trying to get fights like so you fight like chicks ain't even hit me up. They're like I get fighters in there, which is great. And so get fighters that's reaching out to get on our card. And some of them, I was like, oh yeah, send me whatever over, and video your last fight, promotion, whoever you fought, whatever. Some of them send stuff over, and they're really good.
Yeah.
Right, like these guys are scrap, they can go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we can definitely sign you up, right, to a fight. I would get some of these fighters that would send me clips of them getting knocked out.
Yeah, that's.
And I was like, I said, you don't got anything else? You sure you don't have anything else that you want us to know? Any kind of highlight, or you knocking somebody out of submission? Something. No. And I was like, man, I can't sign you up, So it happened, several times. And I was sitting around one day. I was like, hold on, sign him up, don't sign him up, sign him up, don't sign him up. And I watched a lot of fight clips and stuff like. I said, hold on, I got to do this. And the first time I did it, man, I remember got a few 100,000 views. Right, I was like, oh shit. I was caught off guard about the viewership. But what I also found out too is that we're so conscious about all the shit that's going on now. Like, everybody's upset or something. I got complained or just BS. And for me, man, it's like to post that, even though somebody, sometimes I'll get, why are you posting that? It's violent. I was like, I didn't shoot the video. Like, I'm in the fight business. This is what I do. Yeah. But I have people texting me or DM me, man, like that video made my day. Like I laughed I'm still laughing at at it. And I'm talking about like my own lawyers and accountants. I ain't talking about like just regular fans. I'm like people that you would never think. I had a couple of friends of mine that were big into politics, senators and city councilmen and shit, like hitting me up like, dude, when are you posting the next sign them up video?
Even the Popeyes one.
The Popeyes one. And so I just thought, for one, the content is funny, it's cool. And I had a guy one time, I was in the gym.
Okay.
And I posted the sign him up video, but I put sign him up, and it should have been a don't sign him up, right? Because it was a guy, he got snuck, right? It wasn't a real fight. It was like a cheap shot.
Yeah.
I was in the gym one time working out, and a guy come up to me and he was like, I'm a big fan or whatever. He said, can I talk to you real quick? I'm like, yeah, He said, "Man, you posted this sign him up video, and it bothered me a little bit because I thought it should be don't sign him up."
Damn, right? Was that serious?
He was serious. he was dead serious. So and that's what I knew. I was like, okay, people are like really invested into this thing. So I even started to watch like my sign him ups and don't sign him ups and what I say because I know that people have certain feelings towards that.
I catch a lot of heat on my dark humor.
Yeah,
I've had several communities come at me. I just ignore them. I let them say whatever they want to say.
Yeah, I'm like, look, if you don't like what somebody posts, I know people that post stuff about politics and stuff all the time that I don't agree with. Yeah. Right? Civil rights, religion. Yeah. Saying stuff all the time. And guess what? And I don't like it. I just keep scrolling up.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, if someone don't like your content or what you're posting, like, you gonna waste your time during the day.
That's true.
To say something, and trust me, I don't care. You don't care. And, to people that get upset over that stuff, like, just keep scrolling. There's so much stuff on social media that I don't like, that I don't approve of. I'm not commenting on nobody's.
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, whatever, scroll next, whatever.
And that goes back to what you said earlier, like, some people just want to be seen sometimes. So that's why they'll just write something, especially out of pocket.
Right.
But with that said, I wanted to ask you one more thing before we do a quick rapid fire, if that's cool. Who would be your main event? Like, if you did like a dream match for any NFL player, past or present, who would be those two guys?
As a fight?
Yeah, just a fight.
Dude, I would love to see like Maxx Crosby and Mercedes Lewis go at it, because both of those guys actually can go. They can.
Yeah, that's true.
So people don't know, like, Mercedes Lewis is, he does jiu-jitsu, and I've trained with him. I was like looking at him like, dude, you can whoop some ass if he really wanted to. And I know Max could. I would love to see that. I would love to put that together one day. If they ever open to it, I mean, sign them up. Sign them up. I'm sure I can, get them a couple million for that if they ever did it.
That would be hella huge. Okay, so with that said, I'm gonna just go through some rapid fire questions to end this off. First, starting with your favorite movie.
Life, with Eddie Murphy and Martin
Classic.
Lawrence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Favorite food.
Soup.
Soup.
Soup. Yeah.
Oh shoot. What kind of soup?
Lobster bisque 1, broccoli cheddar 2, and then a tomato is 3.
Favorite player growing up.
Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, LT. Is that why you wore 56?
Yeah. That's what I want.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Favorite player to play against.
Tom Brady.
Go-to pregame song.
Lil Jon.
Ooh.
Back when I played, it was always
He
Lil
was
Jon.
big back then.
Yeah.
Well, he's still big out here too.
Yeah, but I always listen to Lil Jon on the way to the game.
Okay. Favorite teammate.
God, that's tough, man. Because we were so tight.
I know you got a lot.
Yeah, we were so tight. The line, me, Shawn Phillips, Stephen Cooper, we were the closest, probably on the team. But at LT, we had a really, really good group.
Most underrated player in the NFL today.
Underrated. On the offensive side or defensive side?
Either or you could do one of each.
I'm gonna still go with Maxx Crosby, dude. Like
Ooh, okay.
you know what I mean? Like seriously, him not being mentioned up there in the defense MVP, I think it's a little bit of disrespect to that.
Justin Herbert or Phillip Rivers?
I'll take Phil still.
Yeah,
I'll take Phil.
Okay, real quick. This is a Chargers all-time dream team. So we've done it before for the Raiders, but just one quarterback, running back, 2 receivers, and a tight end.
Yeah. Quarterback, I'll go Phil. I know the people, the older. I know what they're gonna say, but I'm gonna go with Phil. Quarterback, running back, obviously LT. Wide receiver, I'll go Charlie Joyner.
Okay.
Tight end, obviously Antonio Gates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
one
that's
more
right.
wide receiver, like your wide receiver 2.
Allworth, maybe.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Forgot about him.
yeah. Lance Allworth.
Okay. And then last, have you met all 12 Charger fans?
Oh, that was a good one.
13, including the lady, the new fan we just got.
Hey, maybe 20 if you include the robots. If you had the robots.
Yeah, 13.
Nah, but with that said, man, of course, man, everybody check Lights Out 13, right? Football TV, Long Beach, California, man, January 6th.
Yeah,
Big
get your
thing,
tickets
man.
at lightsoutxcept.com.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for coming on. I know you're a
Much
busy
love.
guy.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
If there's anything else that you want to shout out.
No, man, we covered, man. I appreciate you guys. And like I said, I'm still going to go after Raiders fan base. That's me.
right.
Hey.
Like, listen, when I got some time my day, I can't wait, And the only reason why I haven't started up this week, for one, I've been busy. 2, neither one of us is doing nothing right now. It's like, I don't got much trash
Hopefully
to talk.
we can go hug a Charger fan after this.
Oh, no, I might have to make a Charger one,
But yeah, definitely, man. That's it for episode 21, man. Obviously, Samoan Raider, my dude, Mr. Fitz.
Mr. Fitz. Y'all can find me on everything. Mr. Fitz 714. Y'all know what it is. Raiders, bitch.
And with that said, until the next one, we are out.
Peace.